Beth Sloboda's reflection on the major project that was due for the learning processes applied to instructional technology class. And a couple things, just first of all, a reminder of what my project was. I was coming up with some different tools that would allow Weight Watchers members to better use the e-tools or online component of Weight Watchers. Many members have access to these e-tools. Anybody who is an e-tools member to begin with, as well as anybody who has a monthly pass, has the access, but frequently they don't have many people don't use it, even though they have it. So I kind of combined this with my action research project from my other class, and just wanted to see if there was a way to come up with some different resources and tools that those members looking for answers and looking for some guidance could use. I'd say, I think if I had to name one thing that I learned the most from this, is that you have to really, before you do anything else, think about where your learners are coming from. I really went at this saying, oh, I had all these ideas like handouts and a presentation and an online kind of tutorial that was interactive. I had all these great ideas, and number one, of course, time constraints. It was difficult to execute all those, or to even attempt to execute several of them. But then when I got down to it and I started thinking about it, I realized, these members are people who don't even understand the internet. I mean, they have a hard enough time just getting in and using these tools to begin with. That's the whole point. And so when I really stepped back, it was like, okay, I need to create something that other people can use, but makes sense for the kinds of learners I'm talking about. And so I really went more simplistic, and I'm not sure if I, quite frankly, if I completely covered the class requirements for the major project, but I really did scale back what I was doing and think about it from a more simplistic sense. One thing that I did was I did go ahead and create some print-based handouts that people could download from a file sharing site. Even that is a little more tech needing, or technology savviness needing. I'm not sure, it's late. I'm not sure if I have all the words in the right order there, but it's something that I'm not even sure if that even makes sense. So in the end, I came up with a wet paint site that I said, hey, look, go to the videos section, get some screen capture videos that are short and have a kind of a quick way to sort of get an idea of how to use different components just in the very basic sense, and then also some links to a file sharing site, like I said, that had print-based materials. And like I said, I'm still not completely happy with what I came up with, but in the end, a lot of the things that I was thinking about wouldn't have made sense for these learners, and I think that's a huge thing about online learning. We forget that not only do we have to think about what our learners are coming in with subject-wise and material-wise and past knowledge, prior knowledge, what they're coming up in with in that sense, but we also have to think about what are they coming in with technology sense-wise, and we can't just assume they can use this or that or be able to do this or that. We have to provide help and different instructional tools that will help them to get through this. In the end, what I really ended up doing, and I'm not even sure if anybody's used the site, but what I ended up doing that really did work was I created the print-based materials, I printed them off, and I didn't even come up with a PowerPoint. I was thinking, oh, I'll come up with a PowerPoint and have something that could be used synchronously or asynchronously as a tool for people to learn about or use in their own setting. And, you know, at some point I may do that, but in the end, for my learners, it made more sense for me to just get up there for 30 minutes and do a face-to-face instructional guidance. And then I gave them the website information so that they could go through and look at the videos if they needed more help, and print off the print materials if they needed them again. And it kind of almost worked as like a backup secondary instructional piece for these learners, because these are people that aren't technology savvy. So it's really interesting, because I'm sure there's a lot of cool things they could have done, but what it came down to was that didn't make sense for these learners. So I really tried to make it very simplistic, make it very basic, really focus on the actual presentation piece of it, and then use the stuff I came up with for the major project as the secondary stuff. So, I like I said, if I could do it again, I don't know if I'd change anything in terms of, creating something that nobody would ever use, but I might step back and say, okay, really, what are my learners going to need? What's going to make sense for them? And create a system around them. And I think we all know that, but it's sometimes easy to overlook, because we forget that not everybody knows as much as we do and can use the same tools that we can. And so we make this assumption, even if we know that they're not that level of learner in terms of technology, we have to give them that support. We have to make sure that we're giving the support when we need it, when they need it, and having that available. So, in retrospect, I think I would have liked to have more interaction. I would have liked to have something that was a little more online based and was a little more polished. But I also feel like, based on what my learners needed, this made sense. And so I probably wouldn't do it any differently. I might have chosen something different to do if I had realized it would have turned out this way. But I still am glad that I worked with, I learned more about using screen capture software, and I had done very minimal with that before, and this was video capture, so I kind of learned a little bit about that, and how to do it if I have to do it again, and how to, take a screen capture and put it onto a document. I mean, simple stuff that some people just know how to do, but I hadn't done it really before, and so I really got a chance to work with that kind of stuff and see how that works. And so I did learn a lot technology wise, but I'd say more than anything, I learned that you've just gotta think about your learners and what level of technology they have before you even begin to think about what you're going to include as an instructional piece, whether it be a blended learning course or fully online. You just have to think about where they're coming from. So, like I said, wouldn't necessarily do anything different, but I am, I'm pleased with what information I've received from this, and hope to keep working on it and get some more of the print pieces available and some more of the videos available, and hopefully add that as a component to the instructional, the face-to-face instructional part, more so with more members than the few that I've worked with. So, very interesting, and I'm glad I got to do it, and I like that we got to choose our own project and really make it relate to our lives and what made sense to us. So I really did appreciate that. Thank you.